Court does call the case of People versus Jenny Lou.
Good morning, this is Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Ms. Lou. Ms. Lou, please state your name for the record.
I am Jenny Lou.
Okay, there you are. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Perry.
Your Honor, today's the date and time set for sentencing. I did review the recommendation with Ms. Lou and we ask that you adopt it. This is the last case that Ms. Lou has pending before this court. She is expected to be released in April after serving, I believe, 5 years in prison. While in prison, she's done a lot to improve herself and make her time there productive, engaging in things like mental health therapy and things like that. I do, again, ask that you adopt it, and I do wish Ms. Lou luck on whatever comes next for her.
Ms. Lou, is there anything you'd like to say before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sentence of the court, statutory fees of $125, 365 days in jail, credit for 365 served. And I would join counsel. Ms. Lou, we're going to miss you. I don't know how many times I've seen you before. All right.
I know, right? It's been a journey.
Once you're released, I wish you all of the best.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
You too, Your Honor.
Court does call the case of the People versus Cameron Reeves.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Kay on behalf of Mr. Reeves, Your Honor, who I do not believe is present unless he is on Zoom.
I don't see.
Your Honor, I'm not sure where he is. I unfortunately don't have an explanation for his failure to appear. I did make numerous attempts to try to reach him prior to the day's sentencing. It is my understanding he did complete the interview and there was a PSI completed. I also did as well with his mother. Unfortunately, I do not have an explanation for his failure to appear. Requesting the record.
And Teresa Claire on behalf of probation, Your Honor. Mr. Reeves did complete the PSI. However, Mr. Reeves does have a history of not appearing before this court. Probation would request a
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond will be set in the amount of $5,000. I'll give a 10% privilege. There having been previous warrants, this warrant will issue immediately. Court does call the case of the People versus Julian Tehran.
Is that Tabron, Your Honor?
Yes, Tehran. Tabron, I'm sorry.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Mr. Tabron. Mr. Tabron, please state your name for the record. Say it again, Mr. Tabron. You sound really faint to us.
Julian Tabron.
Yes, very faint.
Here, let me try again. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's much better, sir.
Okay, Julian Tabron.
Thank you.
Your Honor, today is the date and time set for sentencing. We did the pre-sentence report and do not have any material changes or deletions. We do ask that you adopt the sentence recommendation regarding the restitution. My client did inform me he's planning on coming up. I did inform him the restitution needs to be paid in person in cash. He is planning on coming up to the court to pay $330 today in person. As for the rest, he is planning on paying in installments if the court allows.
Tabron, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
I'd just like to echo Lawrence that I'm be coming to the court to make a payment. I'd hope I'd receive probation, and I'm happy to comply with making payments for the restitution. That's it.
On count 4, it's the larceny 200 to 1,000. It's the sentence of the court, 24 months probation, $555 fines and court costs, $720 probation oversight fees, and $6,030 restitution to Tetra Tech payable through the court. How were you intending on paying that, sir?
I spoke with the probation officer and I was gonna make, monthly payments of, about $330. I forgot the exact number, but it's around that ballpark per month. And I have a job.
Okay. So you're gonna pay you're gonna come up today and pay how much?
I believe about $330 it is.
All right.
Agreed on.
I'll put you're gonna pay 330 today. That is gonna be paid in cash. That goes to the restitution. And then I will indicate a payment plan as arranged by probation. All right, for that amount. There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete a theft class. You're to do that within the next 90 days. You are to complete 25 hours of community service as directed by probation. There is no going to Tetra Tech on Oak Valley Drive in Ann Arbor, Michigan. You're to maintain employment with proof to probation. I'll order 365 days in jail. Credit 2, the balance is suspended. On count 5, 24 months probation. You're to pay $455 fines and court costs. That will be wrapped into your payment plan through probation. You're to comply with all terms that I set forth in count 4. I'll order 90 days in jail. Credit 2, the balance is suspended. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court does call the case, People versus Justin Tittle.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Tittle, who appears via Zoom. Sir, can you please unmute and state your name for the court?
Justin Tittle.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today's the date and time set for sentencing. I have had the opportunity to review the PSI with Mr. Tittle, and we have no material changes or corrections. And as to the sentencing recommendation, would be respectfully requesting this court to adopt it.
All right, Mr. Tittle, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
Sorry for the inconvenience and God bless.
All right. Sentence of the court, $125 statutory fee, 90 days in jail, credit 90 served. All right. You're all set. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Court calls the case, People versus Frederick Warden.
Public defense attorney on behalf of Mr. Warden. You're coming in person. Please state your name for the record.
Frederick James Ward, second.
Your Honor, today is the date and time set for sentencing. We did review the sentence recommendation. Believe it to be fair. We do ask that you adopt that recommendation.
Sir, is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
No, sir.
All right. Court does acknowledge this is not a serious misdemeanor as defined by statute. However, believes there are reasonable grounds to depart from the presumption of a non-probationary sentence. Specifically, the alcohol screening and assessment identifies the benefit of intensive outpatient treatment and attendance at 12-step meetings. Therefore, the court will follow the recommendation of probation with the stated rehabilitative goals to prevent recidivism, promote change, and to monitor compliance of recommended treatment. This is therefore the sentence of the court. I'll place you on probation for a period of 18 months. You're to pay $855 fines and court costs, $100 prosecution recovery costs, $100 police agency recovery costs, $540 probation oversight fees. When can you get that paid, sir?
I'd like to make payments if possible. I have 200 on me today.
You have 200 today?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that. So pay 200 today, and then the balance is arranged by probation through a payment plan.
Okay.
There should be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You're to complete an IOP program, including all recommended aftercare. The status reports to probation. You are to attend 2 AANA meetings per week with monthly verification to probation. You're to provide proof of victims impact panel attendance to probation. I'll order 93 days in jail. Credit 3. The balance is suspended.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Court does call the case of the People versus Christopher Fair.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pick, on behalf of Mr. Fair, Your Honor, who I unfortunately do not believe is present today. I did leave voicemails at both numbers to contact Mr. Fair. Unfortunately, I did not hear back. And it is my understanding there is unfortunately also an outstanding bench warrant out of 1482. Outside of that, Your Honor, I do not have a further explanation for his failure to appear and respectfully request an adjournment for the record.
And Teresa Flair on behalf of probation, Your Honor, this is a review hearing before the court. However, Mr. Fair is non-compliant with the terms ordered by this court. And given that he is also not here and has other bench warrants out there, probation would request a bench warrant in this case.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond will be set in the amount of $15,000. I will give a 10% privilege on that. That warrant, however, will issue immediately given the previous warrant. Court does call the case, People versus Bilal Howard.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pick, on behalf of Mr. Howard, who should be present via Zoom.
Sir, can you please unmute and state your name for the court?
Mr. Howard.
Wow,
Hello, Howard.
you got him?
Yep.
He was under a different name. All right.
Teresa Flair on behalf of probation, Your Honor, Mr. Howard is scheduled before the court for a review hearing on a prosecutor deferred sentence. Mr. Howard is non-compliant with the terms ordered by the court in that he owes $1,305. He's made no payments towards any of his fees. He's failed to complete the MRT program, failed to complete 25 hours of community service, and has not reported to probation as directed. Given that this is a prosecutor deferred, probation is asking at this time that the court set a violation of probation hearing for July 9th at 9 a.m., that Mr. Howard make a $400 payment today towards his outstanding fees, that he report to probation on June 13th, this Friday at 11:30 a.m. in person, and that he become compliant with all previously ordered terms that this court set prior to the violation hearing or face possible sanctions, which could include the loss of the prosecutor deferred and or jail time.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did have the opportunity to discuss this with Mr. Howard as well as the recommendation for probation. He did state to me that he would be making a $50 payment today, which I did check to see that he did make that $50 payment. We are asking that the court adopt probation's recommendation. Mr. Howard can report in person this coming Friday on the 13th, and he does understand the importance of getting into compliance, getting into this programming, and reporting as directed to Ms. Calera and probation. We're asking the court to adopt probation's recommendation, except for as to the money, Mr. Howard does not have $400 today. He did make a $50 payment. It does state to me that he will pay $100 next week. As to the rest, Your Honor, we are asking the court to adopt the recommendation.
All right, what I will do is I will schedule a violation of probation hearing that will be set for July 9th, 2025 at 9 a.m. That is an in-person proceeding. Defendant is to pay $400. He's to pay $100 by June 20th, and then another $300 I will make payable by June 30th. He is to report to probation on June, is that 18th? I rolled over. What date?
I'm sorry, the 13th, Your Honor.
13th,
So this Friday.
this Friday, June 13th, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. That is in-person proceeding. That is an in-person meeting. And I'm going to apprise you, Mr. Howard, that you will become compliant. You are to become compliant with all the terms of your prosecutor's deferred, or at that hearing on June 9th, the court could issue sanctions, including removal or loss of the prosecutor's deferred, as well as jail time.
I understand, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Thank you, Your Honor.
Court does call the case, People versus Kenneth Hoffman.
Clear on behalf of Mr. Hoffman was scheduled before the court today for a review hearing on a prosecutor deferred sentence. He did complete all terms ordered by the court, and I did wait. Probation is recommending that the court dismiss the case pursuant to the prosecutor deferred and discharge from probation with improvement.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. They got him. Johnson. Court does call the case, People versus James Johnson.
Hello.
This is the show cause, correct, Your Honor?
I haven't said a word.
This is invoked of under Natalie Pateman on behalf of Mr. Johnson, who is in custody, and explains why I was unable to reach you on the phone, sir, for your show cause hearing.
That's
So I do
all right.
apologize for that. Please state your name for the record, sir.
James Johnson.
He spent a lot of time there. But that's what
I'm off of probation after this.
I'm just saying.
You know,
Given that Mr. Johnson's in custody and this is a show cause, Your Honor, I'd ask for an adjournment. This is just
Is he,
Yeah, next month.
well, he's being held on something else?
Yes, he might not be released until sometime like that.
Yeah, I got like 30 days, so I'm gone. They
Another 30 days? You
like 34. I took a plea to cancel my probation and all that off of violation. So after this, I'll be done with everything.
And this is regarding fines and costs and everything.
Yes, Your Honor. It looks like the balance is 674.
Why don't you give me, if he's got 30, then give me 2 months out.
2 months out now would be August 13th.
August 13th.
They can't wait for that.
I'll adjourn this to August 13th, 2025, 9 a.m.
See you then.
He's not gonna show up. I'm at the eventual. Might as well do that now, right?
No,
Right?
He'll be
no,
here.
I'll be
No,
here,
you-
man.
I know you. You just don't.
Hey, I'm changing, man.
Are you?
Here, so I'll be here for sure.
Make a note of that.
Your
All right,
Honor.
guys.
Thank you, sir.
Take care of yourself. Court calls the case, People versus William Lamon. Or Layman.
Good morning, still morning. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Mr. Lanham. Mr. Lanham, please state your name for the record.
Morning, Your Honor. Mr. William Lanham.
Your Honor, we are here for, I guess, a review date. At our last hearing, which was Mr. Lanham's sentencing hearing, you held the potential 4 days in abeyance for Mr. Lanham to have a serious and frank conversation with his parents, specifically his mother, about the events that have taken place over the last, I guess, year and a half. His parents are here with him again this morning. I did have a conversation with Mr. Lanham yesterday that he did have that conversation with his mother, and that it went very well. I did also speak with him regarding his probation. He says there's been no issues on probation. He's been complying with what he needs to do. So I would ask that, I don't know how the court wants to do it. I guess I would ask maybe whole I guess, the full amount the full amount of time is hanging over his head if he violates his probation. So I would ask that the court just set a regular probation review hearing out a few months.
And Teresa Claire on behalf of probation. Your Honor, probation recommended the additional 4 days because they are statutory with an OWIC.
Yes. How'd the conversation go?
Up and down. Truthful though. Truthful, Your Honor. I was really just at the time I was really just emotional, sad, a bit angry about, state of the world and things going on per se in-house. Which is not a good thing to be mixing with alcohol at all. And yeah, I was forward about that. I have changed my ways. I've been sober since that date. Uh, I have a production company. We've been flourishing. We have a short series going into a film festival next weekend in Oklahoma City. I have a wedding project that I'm working on, a graduation project that I'm working on as well. I'm a very powerful asset to my team in the creativity as well as working at the restaurant at the Gandy Dancer too. Yeah. Still working with my community as well.
What?
Sorry, still working with my community as well.
So when you sat down and you were honest with mom, what was her reaction in your mind?
In my eye. She said I can't worry about those type of things. I shouldn't worry about those type of things. But I'm an artist and I absorb things in my environment and that are happening around me. But I just need to channel them in a more responsible way.
And why do you think I did what I did?
First and foremost, out of respect for my mother,
Oh yeah.
to shine a bit of light on me and have me reflect personally about what's going on with me inside and how that can dramatically affect my environment and the people that I care about on the outside as well.
And sometimes in life, if you're fortunate enough, when you don't have anything else to hang on to, it's going to be that woman that'll be there for you. Right?
Yeah.
And in that respect, you sort of owe her everything in terms of who you are.
Yeah.
Because no matter the reality, I don't know your mom, but I just have to think that no matter what you tell her, no matter what it is, she never stops loving you. Right?
This is true, Your Honor. This is true. And it's a blessing, to be honest.
Oh, it's a big blessing. Because no matter what people are around you and who's around you, you don't have many like that just really have unconditional love for you. Right? And like I said, I don't know your mom, but I just had a feeling that she's that type of person. She was owed the truth, and you owed it to her.
Definitely, Your Honor.
And at the end of the whole conversation and everything, she didn't say, I don't love you anymore, did she? Did she say that to you?
No, Your Honor. No,
In
she
fact,
did
it was kind of probably the opposite,
not.
right?
Yes, it was.
And I'll tell you something about parents. When a kid, no matter how old you think you are, because you're not that old, but when your kid comes to you, it tells you something. You never think that you could love them more. But when they show that confidence in you to come to you and tell you, you love them even more than you did before, if that's possible.
It's eye-opening.
That was part of the reason I did it. The other part of the reason is, how old are you?
32.
Yeah. And you go through all of this stuff, and I guess as they say in the old days, you just thought you were all grown, right? No, go ahead and answer me. You just thought you were all grown.
Not necessarily. Forever a student, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know, but you're also forever her child,
True.
right?
Very true.
And you just thought you didn't have to say anything because I'm grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is Yes, Your Honor, that is completely true. Didn't want to burden them either.
You know, that's a nice thought, but you burdened them for 32 years, so what's right? Right?
Yeah, I made her laugh though. You know, that did
What?
good jokes in there. I made her laugh.
Made her laugh?
Yeah, I made her laugh. Good holidays, good birthdays,
See?
good family events, good family dinners.
Council approach. Along with probation. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass this
Okay.
matter. And I may not call it up until the next block, okay? But your counsel will explain why I'm gonna do that.
Is it?
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Dad, sir, I did not mean to ignore you. All right? No, I really didn't, and I appreciate you being here. I did not mean to ignore you. I'll be honest with you, I like moms better. Yeah. All right, but I didn't. Okay, all right. All right, thank you. I'll pass this matter and Miss Perrone will talk to him in a moment. Thank you. Thank you. Court calls the case, People versus Caitlin Morgan.
Morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Penny on behalf of Miss Morgan. Your Honor, can we approach on this case
Yep.
again? I'm sorry.
You just talked to me. Come on. All right, on this matter, record should reflect we've had a rather lengthy bench conference in this case. There is a jail recommendation, and I'll just put it this way, which counsel is asking probation and the court to reconsider that recommendation. There may be additional information that needs to be provided to probation for their assessment as well as the court's assessment. I will give them that opportunity. I'll adjourn this matter out 1 week, although my next sentencing day is 2 weeks out, but I'll do 1 week out to June 18th, 2025. I'll set that at, let me set it at 9 or a different time. Okay, well, yeah, I'll set it at 10 a.m. All right, and that's a special time for sentencing in this matter, and then we can take a look at everything and potentially reconsider the jail recommendation. All right,
Thank you for the consideration, Your Honor.
thank you.
All right. I think I'll see you. We're not sleeping out. I'll be back next week. I love you.
Court does call the case People versus Amy Avey.
Hello? Hello?
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pace is here. We have Miss Avey. Ma'am, can you please unmute?
Amy Marie Avey.
Is this?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe this is a show cause, Your Honor, and I do believe there still is a balance. Miss Avey may be able to give an explanation about when she can start making payments on these files.
All right.
Yes.
Miss Avey?
Yes, hello, sir. I am on a fixed income. I can pay, $50 a month. I mean, I only get $967.
Gotcha. All right, why don't I do this? You have 2 files here. And so what I will indicate is in each file, defendant to pay $25 per month. Okay. And that'll begin in July.
Okay.
And that way we'll take
that,
care of it.
is that 50 total or 25 for both of them?
That's 50 total.
Okay.
So you're just
All right.
paying 25 on each of these cases, okay?
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right, we'll do it that way.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Avey. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I leave?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too. Court calls the case before versus Brendan Williams.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, please state your name for the record.
Brennan John Williams.
Your Honor, today is the date and time set for sentencing. We did review the pre-sentence report and we do ask that you adopt it. I also reviewed we reviewed the pre-sentence report. We don't have any changes. We did review the recommendation as well, and we ask that you adopt that recommendation.
And Teresa Claire on behalf of probation, Your Honor, the victims in this case, Donna and John Juggling are present. I know that Donna would like to address the court. She would like the court to consider changing the no contact to no non-consensual contact. She is his grandmother. And there are also, his aunt is also present and a family friend that would also like to address the court if the court would allow them to.
All right. If you'll have a seat, and I'll hear from whoever wants to say something to the court.
Sure. That's okay. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Can you first state your name and then you can tell me whatever you want to tell?
Donna Marie Jungling.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Brendan's grandma. And I would like you to really consider giving us contact. My grandson means a lot to me. I have 8 grandchildren. He has a special place in my heart, though, because he has struggled so much to get where he is today. And even though he's in trouble, he's a good kid. We miss him terribly, at least, and me more than anything. I don't have any fears of him in any way, shape, or form. He is more helpful to me than anything. If this contact order stays in place, he's not going to be able to go back to work. We work together. We work at the same company, often working at the same sites. Brendan just needs a chance. He needs help. He needs to be able to pull things together. He needs the medical end of it as well. He's always struggled. I've done my best to get him the help he needs. I finally found a doctor that would put him back on meds to help with his ADHD and his anxiety. Clearly, and he has told me for the last month, they are not working. I haven't fought to get that changed because I was trying to get him into Dawn Farms for recovery. And they won't allow the meds that he was normally on. I know he needs help in every which way, shape, and form. All I'm asking is, I need contact with him too.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Your Honor, next is his aunt. Oh, sorry, this is going to be family friend. Your Honor, this is Marie Ockard. Sorry, she's married now.
Hello.
She wanted to say hello, but she's also here to support Mr. Williams.
Hello,
How are you, Your Honor?
I'm doing well.
Excellent news.
State your name again for the record.
Marie Elizabeth Zawawi.
Go ahead. What did you want to tell me?
I have met in my recovery journey many people who have the capacity and not the willingness and not the capacity, both ways. In his case, in Brendan's case specifically, he has a lot of people that really love him. He has a lot of support, a lot of assets he can avail himself of. Dawn Farms is also not the only program he has to go to. I cannot recognize my life now from
last time I was in front of your honor. As we know each other very well. I've been sober for 2.5 years completely. Yes, it is so possible. And someone like this very intelligent young man has every opportunity to do well with the support. I think his family being able to interact with him in the way that they would like to is an integral. I don't think I would have been able to without my mother, whom you said some very nice things to as well. His mother, in particular, Nikki, was one of the most important people in my recovery journey. She was there for me on days when I didn't think I would make it through, to be totally honest, and I did. So I know that it can be very difficult, especially from incarceration, to feel like things get better, but they do, I promise. I've been trying to reach out to my contacts in the community to see what I can do for Brendan myself. I know that there's quite a few different places that we believe he can go, avail himself of the services there. There's quite a lot in this day and age that is out there if you know about it, if you know how to access it, if you have perhaps a little guidance. Happy to help him get set up with a sponsor if he so chooses. If he doesn't, it doesn't just look like AA, NA. There's many different pathways to sobriety, and they're all legitimate. And I know I struggled for over half my life. Over half. This honorable judge has seen it himself. It is a completely different life, especially with the family starting, things like that. I know he has goals. I know he has the intelligence, and I believe that he has the willingness. I would really like to see him succeed.
Okay.
So happy to see you this way.
Yes, well, thank you. It's great seeing you. I don't often get follow-up from those that
And when I found out that Teresa is going to be his probation officer, I knew exactly how to help too also.
Okay.
So I just like the court to know that we have been, as a collaborative team, really trying to assess the situation and find the best pathway forward. Because I do believe that in this young man's case, perhaps this is his rock bottom. I really hope it is, because it can get worse too. But I think he's got the capacity, and I believe that with the appropriate support, and as long as he remembers the willingness part, we can get there. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.
I really appreciate it.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's Christy Sarton, and I am Brendan's aunt. And I apologize, I didn't know I was speaking today, so I'm not prepared.
It's all right.
Brendan is a great kid. And I understand that he's 23, but for me, he's still a great kid. He is my nephew, and I love him like he's his son. I, like the rest of my family, have watched Brendan suffer and struggle with his ADHD, with his anxiety, and with the fact that we, as a group, did not teach him how to cope with these things, how to process his feelings, and how to become a stronger individual without relying on substances. Because that, as a family, is what we have all gone through. I believe that Brendan is at a precipice in his life where he has the ability to make great change. He recently found out that he is becoming a father. His girlfriend of many years is 12 weeks pregnant. Brendan did not have his dad in his life. I believe that it has affected the way that he has tried to find security, and the way that he has tried to find peacefulness and feeling loved and accepted. Brendan was trying to get sober before these things happened. I had many conversations with him. I watched him get sick because he tried to quit drinking on his own and he couldn't. I have felt at a loss on how to help him. Even when he looked at us and said, I need help and I don't know how to do it. None of us knew how to do it either. I believe that Brendan needs to be held accountable for his actions, as we all do. But I ask that very respectfully, we look at the implicit need here, the need for help emotionally and mentally, and not just in a punitive way. And I ask that you consider removing the no contact order from my parents. Brendan has been all of our sons, and my mom needs him, just like the rest of our family does. Thank you for giving me time to speak. Thank you.
I will add, Your Honor,
How are you gonna add?
I know.
But go ahead, Mr. Ernie, take your best shot.
All of that was very moving to me. And many of his family members submitted letters on behalf of Mr. Williams during plea negotiations and things like that, which helped us get to this point. So he really does have, as the court can see here, but even more family members that are wanting to support him through this new journey in his sobriety.
Oh. Is that everybody on that side that wanted to say something?
Yes.
All right. And so, ma'am, who's sitting next to you?
This is Brendan's mom.
Okay, that's what I thought was that name.
Yes, sir. She's a little nervous to get up and speak. She loves Brendan very much.
She nervous because of me? No? All right. Okay, she of course doesn't have to say anything. All right, why don't we come back up? Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Mary. Brendan, is there anything you want to tell the court? You understand what a big gift you have?
Yes.
Now, Brendan, is kind of interesting to me as I sit here every day and a lot of folks come into this court and they have nobody. Right? And I sit there after I sentence them to whatever it is, doesn't matter. They walk out of here or they don't walk out of here, whichever way. And I worry about them because once they leave here, I don't know sort of what they rely upon when things get tough, what they do, right? What it is about you, but for whatever reason, all these people seem to like you. Why is that, Brandon? You know? You're gonna shrug your shoulders? You know darn well why. They love you and they care about you, and all they want is the best for you. Right? So after I do this, are you going to be able to sort of work with them to try to get yourself on the right path?
Yes.
Funny thing about me, Brendan, is I remember everything. So when you tell me yes, I'm going to remember that. Okay. On count three, just a sense of the court, I'm going to place you on 18 months probation. It's $555 fines and costs, $540 probation oversight fees. Do you have any idea how you're gonna get that paid?
Going back to work. Yeah.
Payment plan as arranged by probation. There should be no alcohol, no use of any alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You're to complete a substance abuse assessment, follow all recommended treatment with status reports to probation. You're to complete a mental health assessment, follow all recommended care, including medication protocol. I'm going to order no assaultive or threatening or intimidating behavior. You're not to possess any weapons, firearms, ammunition, or anything fashioned to be a weapon. You're to maintain employment with proof to probation. I'll place you on a scram tether through community corrections. I'll order 365 days in jail. Credit for 42 that you've served. The balance is suspended with the scram tether placement prior to your release. I'll finish that sentence in a moment, or that sentencing in a moment. I'll go to count 4. 18 months probation, $455 fines and court costs. That will be on a payment plan. Probation comply with the terms that I've set forth in count 3. I'll order 93 days in jail, credit 42, the balance is suspended. On count 6, 18 months probation, $555 fines and costs. That will be swept into the payment plan. Comply with the terms I've set forth in count 3. I'll order 365 days in jail, credit 42, the balance is suspended on that count. You think I should allow contact?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, my grandma seems like she needs me, and I know I need her. Support is better than none. Like
Pardon?
I said.
What'd you say?
I said support is better than none.
Not sure what that meant, but that last phrase, I got the first one. And then you had 3 impressive women get up here and talk on your behalf. Amazing. Right? You had your grandmother up here talking about you, and just made it clear to me. I understood everything she was saying to me, that she needs you and you need her. Do you think you can do all of this by yourself?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, no.
Probably not. I'll let you rephrase that.
Yeah, no.
Do you think you can do this all by yourself?
No.
No, you can't. Right? And so sometimes, like I said to the other young man here, you can be as old as you want to be. You can think you're as much of an adult as you want to be, but you're still just a kid. And later on in life, you know what, Brendan, the great thing about that is there are going to be times when that whole adulting thing becomes real hard that you're going to want to go back to being a kid. Everybody's been there. You want to grow up so fast, but then all of a sudden, that doesn't look right. Okay. That doesn't mean that you can't do the things that you want to do, but you know, the thing that impressed me about your grandmother is all she really wants to do is she wants to help you. She just wants to guide you and just love you. That's a huge blessing. Right? So sometimes you weren't out here. But I had to apologize to a dad today because I paid attention to mom, because I like moms better, right? You weren't out here, and I really do like moms. The only thing I may like better than moms are grandmothers. So I just want to point that out, and I'm not saying that out of any disrespect. They're all of a high level. Brandon, I think you can do this. The important thing is sometimes I'm going to guess your grandparents going to tell you things you don't want to hear. You're just like any other kid. Do me a favor, when they're telling you that, realize that they're telling you all of that out of love. Take a deep breath and listen. Okay. And in that moment, you may not be able to even understand why they're telling you that. You may just think they're telling you that just to get on your nerves. Right? In those moments, just don't get angry about it. Don't just take it in. You may not at that moment be able to do anything with what they're telling. Right? But then here's the sad thing that happens, Brandon. Why you have to take it in when you have the opportunity. Because one day, you're going to run into the same problem, or you're going to run into a problem that's like it. And you're going to be trying to figure out what to do. And sadly, they won't be there with you. And the only thing that you're going to be able to rely upon is what they told you. And it may be that thing that you have to dig up that you said that didn't make any sense at the time. That all of a sudden is going to make a whole lot of sense. Follow me, young man.
Mhm.
You're blessed to have those generations of women helping guide you. Take it in and use it. And I'm going to accede to Grandma's wishes. I'm going to allow consensual contact with both John and Donna. Okay? Got that? Now, what I mean by consensual contact is if they don't want you around, then you got to leave them alone. You can't have contact with them. All right? It's all on them as to whether or not there's contact. Understood?
Yep.
Okay, don't violate this.
Yep. I won't.
Apparently, anything further?
Nothing further from me, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good luck, young man. Thank you, folks, for coming down and supporting him.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much,
Court calls the case People versus Edward Castro.
Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Castro, Your Honor, present via Zoom. Sir, could you please unmute yourself for the record if you're there? Not checked in. Your Honor, I do not have an explanation for Mr. Castro's failure to appear. I believe when I checked this morning, there was still a balance of $350 on this case. I would respectfully request an adjournment for the record.
And he got a clearance on it. Bench warrant will issue bond 5,000. I'll give a 10% privilege on it. That warrant will issue immediately like the last. See if we can get him in. Court does call the case People versus Lakita Roberts.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Ms. Roberts, who stands to my right. Please say your name for the record, ma'am.
Lakita Roberts.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today is the date and time for sentencing. Ms. Roberts and I have had the opportunity to review the PSIR as well as the sentencing recommendations. We have no changes to the report and would respectfully request the court adopt probation's recommendation.
Ms. Roberts, anything you want to tell the court before I impose sentence?
There's not, no.
All right. $125 statutory fees, 90 days in jail, credit 90 served. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Court does call the case People versus Anthony Charlie.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Charlie. Charlie is present via Zoom. I would ask that he unmute and state his name for the record.
Nope. Not in Zoom.
Well, Your Honor, I do know we did attempt to make contact with Mr. Charlie and provide him with Zoom information, as well as the amount owed. I do not have an explanation for his failure to appear today.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond is set in amount of 5,000 up to a 10% privilege. That warrant will issue immediately. Thank you. Court calls the case People versus Sean Costello.
On behalf of Mr. Costello, maybe present. Sir, could I please unmute your name for the-
It's not.
So Your Honor, I did, or our office did receive communication that he is no longer at Restoration Arbor Light Road at 6 May. I did make contact with him again earlier this week to see if he possibly had returned there. They stated he was not. I did send him an email in hopes that he would be able to come on Zoom. I don't have an explanation for his failure to appear or know quite where he requested here.
Bench warrant will issue. I mean, I can call others, but I don't know where your people are. I do.
Start with that.
Court does call the case of the People versus Matthew Gibbons.
Public Defender Natalie Pay on behalf of Mr. Gibbons, who may be present via Zoom.
I don't think so. He is not.
Your Honor, this is on this attorney's case. I do not know whether you spoke to him. I also don't know.
Oh. Apologies, Your Honor. Good
No.
morning. This is Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Gibbons. We do not have a good number to contact Mr. Gibbons at. We did attempt to make contact, but we're unsuccessful.
All right. Bench warrant will issue. Bond 5,000, 10%. Those warrants will issue immediately. Was this second one just a warrant? It was. Court does call the case of the People versus Zachary Harrington.
You should be present via Zoom. So are you there? Can you please unmute and state your name for the record? Not checking.
Not checking.
I don't have an explanation to failure to appear, excuse me. I did send him an email and someone else from our office left that. I do know he was scheduled to begin employment based on the last time I spoke with him, but to that end, I don't have an explanation for his failure to appear. I respectfully request an adjournment.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond is set in the amount of 5,000. Give a 10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue immediately. Court does call the case of the People versus Shirley Hartford. Shirley Hartford, this is Shirley. No response. Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. How much is it?
464.
Bond will be set in the amount of 5,000. Give a 10% privilege on that. Warrant will issue immediately. Court calls the case of the People versus Willie Henley.
Good morning. This is Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Henley.
And so, Willie Henley, you need to unmute and turn on your camera. You're muted, sir. I need you to state your name. Oh, there you go.
Willie Henley.
All right.
Your Honor, today's time set for a show cause. Mr. Henley owes, I believe, $600, correct? We did exchange some communications regarding how we can make payments. I don't have a update for the court, Your Honor, if we did make a payment in between now and his last court date. Mr. Henley, did you make a payment?
I made a payment last night of $500. I sent you an email, the receipt.
So you paid 500 of the 600?
Yes, sir. I owe
Can you
$100.
verify that? He did pay it.
So the current balance is $100.
$100, you paid the 500? All right. When can you get that 100 paid?
By Monday, sir. Like I said before, I DoorDash, so I'll work off of tips. And if people don't tip, I'll just basically get $1 or $2 per order. So just give me till Monday, and I have the court the $100.
Mr. Henley, I appreciate you putting forth the effort. You paid 500 of it. I'm waiving the other 100. Your case is closed. You're good.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Take care of yourself.
You too.
Court does call the case, People versus Amy Karsnick.
Parsnick, maybe present via Zoom. She is. So Your Honor, I did not get a phone number for Ms. Parsnick. I did send her an email though, to the email I had on file. To be frank, I don't know if that's correct or not. I did not get it back. I don't have an explanation for her failure to appear in respect to the request.
You have 275.
Yes, sir.
Bench warrant will issue bond set in the amount of $3,000, 10% privilege. That warrant will issue immediately. Court does call the case of the People versus Dominic Kelly Payne.
On behalf of Mr. Kelly, who should be present via Zoom. He's not.
You think he's in custody?
I believe he might be in custody on something else. Yesterday. I did check, but that was mid-afternoon, and I did not show that he was jailed. Okay.
He was being arraigned.
Something else, yeah. Yeah.
Was he? It was an in custody arraignment. All right, why don't I do this? What's my next date? June 25th, 2025, 9 a.m. I'll just adjourn it out. You guys can check where he is. Court does call the case, People versus Daryl Mitz.
Good afternoon, or good morning. You have Mr. Mix. Your Honor, we did attempt to make contact with Mr. Mix and we were unsuccessful. I would ask for an adjournment of the show cause.
Bench warrant 5,000, 10% privilege. Warrant will issue immediately. Court does call the case of the People versus Christina Morgan.
Public defender and advocate. Zoom. State your name to the court.
Christina Morgan.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I believe there's still calling. This Morgan did make a $25 payment. It was either this morning or yesterday, but when I checked this morning, she hadn't made the payment that we discussed. I understand there is still a balance. I believe she would be requesting a payment plan.
All right. What does she think she can do with regard to a payment plan monthly?
Ms. Morgan, were you requesting a $25 a month payment plan from the court?
Yes.
She on a fixed income or something?
Last I spoke with her, she was still seeking employment,
Got it. Okay.
but I do not know if she's yet secured.
We'll do it at this point, $25 per month. That will begin in July.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Court calls case, People versus Tremaine Pender.
Now, the case was on behalf of Mr. Pinder, who is present via Zoom. Sir, can you please unmute and state your name for the court?
You keep saying all that.
So then I spoke to you, Your Honor, and he talked quite a bit about what he receives monthly, what he's doing, how he's not working. I do understand he still has a balance. I did expect him to be here today, or would respectfully request him here for the record. He currently owes $969. Those are the Social Security disability was gonna be asking for a $50 a month payment plan.
Bench warrant, 5,000, 10% privilege. Warrant will issue immediately. Thank you. Court calls case People versus Maurice Shimwell. I think that's
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Natalie Payton on behalf of Mr. Shemwell, who is present via Zoom. Sir, please unmute, state your name for the court.
Maurice Simwell.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have discussed Mr. Shemwell's balance with, we had a couple of good conversations yesterday. Unfortunately, he had back surgery last fall, in 2020, and is currently not working. And further, he is currently undergoing some unrelated medical testing, including having an appointment, earlier this morning. Given that he's not working, he's respectfully requesting an adjournment of the show cause so he can get some of these medical things in order and figure out what's going on.
August date is.
13.
I'll adjourn the matter to August 13th, 2025, 9 a.m. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Shimwell. Be well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. We'll be in touch before August.
Court calls case People versus Stacy Troon. Oh, it's just. $9.81. Hello,
Hello, Your Honor.
what's your name?
Stacy Truin.
All right. Mr. Troon, you're here on a show cause. You owe $981. How were you thinking about getting that paid?
I was let off probation and like 2.5, 3 years ago. And my probation officer told me that if I couldn't pay it because I had a slip and fall and I'm no longer working, that it would go to a collection agency. And then I get this letter saying that I got to show cause.
Right, it would go to our collections department is probably what you heard.
Okay.
And then when there's no payment in that regard, then they set it for a show cause before me.
Yeah, I just recently started receiving SSI, but I'm so far behind on all my bills. I can afford like $20 a month.
Pardon?
I can afford like $20 a month.
Why don't we do this? I'll let that happen. So we'll do $20 per month.
20 per month?
Yeah, we'll begin it in July.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Take care of yourself. Court does call the case People versus Angelise Warren.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Payton on behalf of Angelise Warren, may be present via Zoom. If you're there, please unmute and state your name for the record.
Are both on?
They're both on. She's on here. Your Honor, unfortunately, all the numbers I had and then was able to locate Ms. Warren were bad. I did send her an email, I did not hear back, unfortunately. To that end, I have no explanation. Record.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear in both of these matters. Bond is set in the amount of $7,500. Given 10% privilege, that warrant will issue, those warrants will issue immediately. Does recall the case of the People versus William Lynn.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Lanham. Please state your name again for the record.
William Alexander Lanham.
You know what's funny? You've been here all morning, and I just keep understanding things about his parents because I know they raised him right. And you know how I know he raised him right? It's when what's her name was coming through the gate, he got up off his seat to make sure the gate was, I mean, it sounds like a little thing, and it's a little thing to you, but you'd be surprised how that doesn't happen. And that
right there.
That just goes to people being raised right. I don't know. I just sometimes get amazed. Go ahead. All right. Where are we?
Your Honor, we did have a bench conference regarding this matter. And the court indicated we will be ordering 4 days. We did communicate regarding a date. I did speak to probation regarding the date, and it seems like she doesn't have a problem with it. It would be July 10th, which is a Thursday. I'd ask if he could report like at 6 p.m.
July 10th. Okay, gotcha.
And then, yeah, around 6 after the workday, and then do serve his 4 days and be out on the weekend. Actually, Your Honor, one more request. He's asking for a little bit later in the day, if that's allowed. He suggested like 8 or 9, 10.
What's the latest they like to report there? Just change it. Yeah, I think that's probably late. The
7's the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know sometimes it can take a while to get booked in, and you want to get booked before midnight.
I'm gonna order July 10th, 2025 at 7 p.m. to serve his 4 days. All right, we'll just have to do it that way.
If anything major comes up, is it okay to change the date? With talking,
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say if there's something major that comes up, contact your attorney and then we'll figure it out maybe.
yes, Your Honor.
But right now it'll be set for July 10th at 7 p.m.
Yes.
All right?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mom and Dad, thank you so much for coming down and supporting him.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, you guys take care of yourselves.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you again.
Thank you. Fort, is that it for us for today?
That is your honor.
14A, stands adjourned.